A new character called Saito was introduced in this episode of Gintama. Quite late in the game, don't you think, for a character such as this, that's this important to be introduced? My only reason why I feel like the mangaka introduced this character was something really bad is gonna happen soon for such a character to be introduced this late in the series. So, besides that, my first impressions of Saito as a character, that's probably going to be a new reoccurring character, I like his style. I like the shyness of his character, the afro, his hair color. Just overall, he has a really cool personality, even though he didn't speak much at all. He has a cool personality, and this episode was by far one of the funniest episodes, I think, of this season of Gintama. So, Saito, the main point of his character from what I see is he's a type of person that is very timid and he doesn't know how to express himself because for a very long time he hasn't spoken because he doesn't know what to say. He doesn't want people to judge him. Every time before he speaks, he always thinks about how he sounds, what people think of him. So he's very self-conscious. He's a very self-conscious character that doesn't know what he wants to say and he doesn't want people to judge him. So instantly we have our type of character that was introduced. We know what type of personality he has. So it leads him into the situation where there's some awkward things happening between him and Katsura throughout this episode. So we all know by now when Katsura's in an episode, we best cherish it because Katsura's not usually in episodes at all. He barely appears in a full episode by himself. Like, we need more screen time for Katsura because he barely gets an entire episode just for himself in recent days. So I'm glad he did get this episode to be able to just, you know, have fun and get to see Katsura. So, Saito, in his quest to try to figure out what to say, Katsura misunderstands him and thinks that Saito is coming after him. Because the squad that Saito leads is the third squad that is like a silent squad. It's a squad that does hidden investigations or secret investigations, and they deal with this undercover where nobody knows much about them. So with this, you have where Katsura misunderstands the entire event of this dude's diary and thinks like these Z's all over everybody meant death. For instance, he executed them or he realized that they were rebels and that he needed to deal with them, which in turn led it to where they did rebel and then he hunted them down and killed them. But still the point stands is Katsura misunderstood the diary and felt like this dude was after him the entirety of this episode. So which leads into some very funny moments, especially when Katsura is like, okay, so I need to poison this dude, and he brings up a cup of tea and he's like, I'm sorry, this is a little bit shady and I wouldn't normally do this under normal circumstances, but he's like, I gotta do this. So he brings this poison cup of tea up to this guy, and then right before that you have it to where Gintoki gives him advice and is like, hey, if you want to express yourself and all that, why don't you just try to smile? Usually you just need to nod or smile, and it's the basic forms of human communication. So that leads into where Saito smiles at Katsura when Katsura brings the tea, which is poison, and it leads into a situation where Katsura misunderstands that and thinks that this dude found him out because of the poison tea and was going to kick his ass. And I could not stop from fucking laughing just seeing how this man was just smiling, the creepy smile. That is a creepy ass fucking smile. Like, that will be in my nightmares. That will definitely be in my nightmares. Because that smile with the blood coming down, and when he smashes his cup, like the blood's on his face, and when he licks his lips, and you just see like fucking bloody lips. It was so creepy. It was so fucking creepy. If I was Katsura, I would have been scared too. I definitely would have been scared if I was Katsura. I would have ran for it. I would have fucking abandoned ship if I saw that ship. So, besides that, we go into a time skip. 1 month has passed, and Katsura is still a part of the Afro Squad. So, I wonder what's going on there, and it seems like we are getting into an arc, which is good, because we're getting introduced to a new character called Saito, and we do need multiple episodes to introduce a new character if it is going to be a reoccurring character. So, if Saito is a reoccurring character, and he's not just disappearing after this little arc with a death or something, then I'm glad to see him here. He's a welcome addition to the Gintama cast, and I hope he does get more screen time because, I mean, there is some characters that don't get as much screen time as others, and so I do hope he does shine in upcoming arcs or seasons just because he got introduced recently. And for him to be introduced, I'm willing to bet that the mangaka has some really big plans for his character. So yeah, that's my thoughts. One last thing I want to mention, though, is that the entire scene when Saito breaks into odd jobs and he comes through the window, and the entire point he was there was, like, just to take a shit and leave. How pissed off would you be if someone did that to you? Like, if someone just broke into your house, like, they just come for your damn window, and then they look at you, they're not talking at all, they continue walking in your house, and you're trying to stop, and you're like, what the hell are you doing in here? But they don't talk to you at all, and then all of a sudden you put, like, a knife, sword, gun, or whatever to the back of them, and whatever type of weapon you have, and then they still don't answer you, they look at you, and then they run into the bathroom, take a shit, you hear some squirting sounds, they run out the door. How are you supposed to think about that? Like, what do you think? Like, did that dude just come into my house, break into my house just to take a shit and leave? What the fuck? So yeah, episode Gintama, just too good. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or not, wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.